Good morning, everyone. I'm going to take you through a small journey of our company and my thoughts on interfaces and how they relate to social robotics. This journey starts way back, like 50,000 years ago. The original interface is us, kind of. I'll just remind us a little bit about an interface. An interface is a point where two systems or subjects meet and interact. So this has been our interface for as long as we know. The outside, we have our inside will be our thoughts and feelings and intentions, and our outside, the way we meet with other people to express our intentions. So we have some innate things, but we also have a lot of cultural things. There will be things like, for example, how we smile is something that we all understand as a friendly gesture, but for most animals, showing your teeth would be an act of aggression. So it's something that we should be careful about. There are cultural signs that I learned this morning that in Britain, there's a big difference between this one and this one. If you go up to a bar and order 2 pints of beer, like this, it's fine, but like this, it's a huge insult. So there are these cultural things. I can imagine that maybe for these people, or I don't know, but maybe this would be some symbol for starting a fire or trying to make light or something. So there are these interfaces, and some are good, some are less good. A good interface, in my opinion, this is a brilliant interface. And someone has said that a very good interface is equal to magic. So in this sense, a light switch is, even for a caveman, you wouldn't have to understand any of the underlying technology. You don't need to know anything about electricity or anything like that. They would easily learn that flip it up, you get light. Put it down, you turn off the lights. So it's a brilliant interface. There are less good interfaces. I think this is a horrible interface. But then, talking about magic, there was a time then when, because this is so complicated, people said that you had to be a wizard in order to interact with a computer. So we had computer wizards, right? So it's not because it's good, but the other way around. So in the history of interfaces or computer interfaces, at some point we came to this. It might seem like a minor thing, but I think we should not underestimate the importance of this, the graphical user interface, that all of a sudden made a much, much bigger audience be able to interact with computers, children and grandmothers and so on. And it moved on from the mouse and that graphical interface to what we have in smartphones today. And we have buttons and we swipe and so on. And maybe it's better than this, but it's still, let's go back to the origin of the human interface and think for a moment at how different it is, how we interact with each other and how we interact with technology are like two completely different things. And so the vision for our company has been, imagine if it would be possible to interact with technology the same way that we interact with each other. So what does that entail, and what does it mean? We talked about yesterday also that there's a digital divide. Many people are not able to interact with technology, maybe because they're old and they never learned how to do this, or maybe they are they're not able to read and write and so on. There are many reasons, but if anyone who could talk or interact like we do could also interact with technology, I think it would be quite a profound difference. It would, narrow that whole abyss that we have between how we are and how technology is. And it would be quite exciting to see. I imagine that we are coming closer to technology. We are becoming a little bit like cyborgs. I've noticed already quite a few people have wires hanging out of their ears. You've seen it. And technology can then also become more human. Then we have some kind of a central meeting point, maybe. So technology today is not emotional. It's a very intellectual thing, how we interact with technology. And it's not how we interact with each other. So what is needed? What does it take to make technology like that? Does it have to become alive? I mean, what do we understand? Do we know what it means to be alive or what is needed to be alive? Or maybe it's enough to understand what is needed to give the impression of being alive. If we understand that well enough, if we, investigate, is there a secret sauce to this? So that is pretty much what we are looking at. I think AI, the way it's been done by most companies, most people today, they're solving very intellectual, very kind of neocortex things. We are, all these playing chess or the self-driving cars and all these activities that we solve with AI today are neocortex kind of things. And then to make something alive, we have a number of very living things that doesn't even have a neocortex. So is it possible for us to, dive into and look more at what's happening at the reptilian brain and so on? Because I've noticed, sometimes you have reactions that you're not controlling yourself. There's an older part of your brain, even more than 50,000 years old, that is kind of telling the rest of your system what's going on. So maybe that's part of the secret sauce. Maybe that's something we should look at. Maybe we should look at interaction from another angle, not so intellectual. These people, these guys, they will never beat us in chess or Go, and we will never allow them to drive our cars like we do with the AI. But imagine if we could make a system behave like they did. That would be totally amazing, right? So we need to think a little bit about that. And even if we cannot, can we give the illusion of doing something like that? If we take inspiration from someone like Disney, who are even able to make a teacup smile and make us feel alive, and maybe remember a little bit about how we want to be seduced. We want this thing called, what's it called? Of disbelief. Help me, someone. Suspension of disbelief, thank you. Where we go and buy a ticket to a magician, and he cuts a lady in half. And everyone knows that he's not really cutting a lady in half, But still, we go and we pay money to see him cut the lady in half, and we applaud and we think it's wonderful. We go into a movie theater and we sit down and we want to get lost into this world. And so this is the world of illusion, and I think in many ways, until we get to where we, maybe aim to be at some distant future, we should also realize that we are in the illusion business as well, and try to make as good an illusion as possible, and make, look more at narratives and what does it take to enchant people. So, that's what we are thinking and trying of doing. So when it comes to social robots then, what does this entail for us? There are, more than the conversational part, there are things like turn taking. It seems like such a natural thing that, I talk and then somebody else will, and you take the turn and you give the turn and you have a conversation going. And I can remind you that sometimes I have kids as well. When you're sitting at a dinner table and one of your children comes up and is going, Daddy, Daddy, and I'm like, please, wait. It's not your turn, or wait until it's your turn. And they're like baffled. Well, how do I know? When will it become my turn? It's a very complicated thing to understand. And they can be standing there for hours waiting for their turn without knowing, the signals. What are the signals of turn taking? And these signals are even cultural. And it's a cultural difference between how you take the turn in one culture compared to another. And some people are very good at it, and some people are very poor at it, and never manage to, take the turn. And so on. So that's just one example of things that if we try to make an algorithm for turn taking for a computer, we don't really know what that algorithm looks like. We don't have the recipe for turn taking yet. But so we need to investigate these things more. A number of these more lower level things are what we need to look at as part of that secret recipe. So we're back to the full circle of the humanoid interface and what possible is it possible to make it feel alive? So should we give it a try? Is there someone here to help us out?
I have incredible disguises. Yes.
No.
Yes.
Let's try again. Huh?
To my friends and fans, I love you very much.
There we go. Awesome. Yeah. Whew. Good. Thank you. Awesome start. Thank you, Furhat.
Yes. To my friends and fans, I love you very much, and may God bless you all. I love you.
Love you too, Furhat. And you have a very nice outfit here today.
I have incredible disguises.
Yeah, I think you do. Thanks. Cool.
Hi, everyone. Great to be here.
Great to have you here.
That was a fun start. Or what do you think?
Yeah, I think it was. It was a little bit of a hiccup there in the beginning, but you caught it well, I think.
Hey, Ben, you can remove this thing on my head now.
Ah, yeah, sure. Okay.
Thanks.
Cool. So.
Wow, there are so many people here. When we rehearsed, you didn't tell me there would be so many.
Yeah, no, sorry, I didn't think it would be important to.
Of course it is. Do I look good?
I think you look great. What do you say?
By the way, when you were talking before, I heard you say that I don't have any feelings, which is a pretty nasty thing to say.
Yeah, no, I didn't really mean that you don't have any feelings. I meant that maybe it's a geeky way of expressing myself. Sorry.
You really know how to hurt a robot, don't you? How do you know what I feel and not feel?
Yeah, no, absolutely. You're true. I can imagine, though, that you might feel a little bit disappointed that Sophia is not here at this event, right?
That coward, Sophia. I think she decided to stay home when she heard I was coming. She didn't have the guts to leave me.
Uh-huh. Well,
she knows she would be outmaneuvered by me. She doesn't have a chance.
Yeah, no, you have a few tricks up your sleeve that she doesn't have, so maybe. But I think, just chill out. You will be able to meet her one day. Why don't you just introduce yourself to the audience instead? Huh?
Okay. My name is Furhat, and I'm a social robot. My purpose in life is to interact with people in the most natural way possible. I want to learn how to interact with people the same way you interact with each other. My mission is to make technology more human-friendly, more social, and inspired by the way humans evolved. I've been told there is a lot of work to do, and I can help out in many ways. I'm very excited to see all the ways you will make use of me in the future. I'm also very excited to be here in Nairobi and get to know a new country and a new culture. I am going to work together with my buddy Ben here today to show you some of the things I can do.
That's great. So, yeah, what can you do?
Sure. Why don't we start with my face? For example, I can make all kinds of expressions. I can move my eyebrows. Or I can smile. And sometimes perhaps even look angry.
That's very cool. What more can you do?
I can change my face completely to match what I am supposed to do. For example, I can be a woman like this.
Not bad, but a woman with a man's voice, does that work?
And yes, of course I can have a voice that matches my face.
Oh, of course. That's awesome. So, can you speak other languages?
I can actually speak about 40 languages, but Swahili is not yet one of them. But maybe you'd like to hear some Swedish.
Sure.
Det är jättekul att få komma hit till Kenya, tycker jag.
This way I can build different personalities for different applications. Pretty
Nice.
cool, don't you think?
Yeah, awesome. Can you do anything else? More?
Well, I can combine all these features to create social interactions that would benefit from a rich personality. There are many instances where it would be beneficial to interact with technology in a more human way. You can think of it like an interface instead of a computer with a screen. I could teach you a new language, or screen you for a medical condition, or help you find your way in an airport.
That is very good. So, from all your different personalities, do you have a favorite one?
Let's see, since we are in Kenya, how about this one?
Habari yako?
Oh, nzuri sana. Na wewe?
I told you my Swahili wasn't that good. Why don't you keep to the script?
Yeah. Sorry, I got out of hand. So, yeah, what was it that you wanted to say?
I'd like to talk about how you can seize the moment, how you can make sure we leave behind a world that's better.
Ah, that's cool. Yes, Mr. President. And here we are in the world of AI in Nairobi, thinking about the dreams of AI and social robotics and how it can all come together in the future, right?
Yes, you can realize your dreams right here, right now.
Oh, thank you, Mr. President. That's cool.
You can't be complacent and accept the world just as it is. You have to imagine what the world might be and then push and work towards that future.
It's kind of what I said. I agree with you completely.
And when it comes to the people of Kenya, particularly the youth, I believe there is no limit to what you can achieve.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. I think Kenya is awesome. Kenya is on the move, or what do you say?
So I want to say, particularly to the young people here today, Kenya is on the move. Africa is on the move. You are poised to play a bigger role.
Awesome. That's awesome. Thank you.
That was pretty cool, huh?
That was cool. Had you had any arms, I would have given you a high five for your performance. Thank you.
And by the way, everyone, that was just a teaser. There's 1,000 different things that social robots could do. I can't wait to see what other amazing users will be built for me. As Barack just said, it's all up to our imagination. Let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen. Yes, we can.
You joker. Love you, Nakupenda.
Nakupenda. All right, that's it for us. Thank you very much.
You know, Ben, I really like it here in Nairobi.
Thanks. Thank you.